The H1B Guy here, and today, the H1B Guy news for the week ending February 18th, 2022. Today I'll cover more H1B fraud and members of Congress plead with USCIS. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube and like this video so that I can continue to produce more content like this for you. I also wanted to mention the H1B Guy offers a variety of consulting services. I help businesses and individuals solve complex work authorization issues in the recruitment process while bringing awareness to employment-based immigration benefits. If I can help you, please reach out. I'd love to hear how. And you can book an appointment directly with me via the h1bguy.com. Today's news is brought to you by CITIZENSHIP and Path to Canada, the ideal plan B for high-skilled immigrants currently located in the U.S. whose status may be uncertain, and by PERM-ads.com, the industry leader in providing a seamless experience for employers and immigration attorneys navigating the complex PERM recruitment ad phase of the labor certification process. Now, the news. Well, I wanted to thank everyone who took time to join me on Wednesday for the H1B Guy Live on February 16th, 2022, where I discussed immigrant protests during the Day Without Immigrants, as well as discussions around the March 2022 Visa Bulletin. Here now are the news stories that interested me most this week. On February 14th, 2022, for the San Jose Inside, in an article titled "Two Silicon Valley Executives Charged with Fraud in Obtaining H-1B Visas." Quote, Namrata Patnaik of Saratoga and Kartiki Parekh of Santa Clara face federal visa fraud charges plus accusation of conspiracy to commit visa fraud in a $7 million H-1B visa scheme announced by federal prosecutors. According to the indictment, Perfect VIPs, headquartered in San Jose and incorporated in 2010 as a computer chip design product and services company, sponsored foreign workers hired with fraudulent H-1B visas. The indictment charges that from 2011 through April 2017, Patnaik and Parekh submitted approximately 85 fraudulent H-1B visa applications for temporary non-immigrant workers sponsored by Perfect VIPs. Each application contained representations under penalty of perjury. During the process, Patnaik and Parekh submitted statements that the foreign workers would be employed by Perfect VIPs to work on Perfect VIP's in-house contracts and projects at Perfect VIP's office locations. Once the applications were approved, Patnaik and Parekh instead created a pool of H-1B workers that were placed in employment positions with other employers, not with Perfect VIPs, according to the indictment. Prosecutors said this practice provided Perfect VIPs with an unfair and legal advantage over employment staffing firms. The federal indictment charges both Patnaik and Parekh with one count of conspiracy to commit visa fraud in violation and 2 counts of visa fraud. The indictment also charges Patnaik with 1 count of money laundering. The maximum sentence for the conspiracy violation is 5 years. The maximum statutory imprisonment sentence for each count of fraud and money laundering is 10 years. Each of the statutes also carries a maximum statutory fine of $250,000 or twice the gross gain or loss amount, or for money laundering, twice the amount of the criminally derived property involved. Add this indictment to the list of individuals and employers committing H-1B visa fraud that has previously been covered here on this platform. The really unfortunate part of this story is how a very small minority can tarnish the reputation of the hundreds of thousands of individuals living and working in the U.S. under H-1B visa that are doing it the right way, the legal way. The alleged infractions occurred during both the Obama and Trump administration's terms, and I found the quote surrounding the fraud that, quote, provided Perfect VIPs an unfair and illegal advantage over employment staffing firms to be very interesting. Over the last 6 years, employment staffing firms have been at the center of the third-party worksite debate surrounding H-1B visa approval data. I'll continue to monitor this case, but I found it really interesting, and I wanted to say I really hope that if both of these individuals are found guilty, that they receive the maximum punishment allowable. On February 16, 2022, in a press release from Congressman Al Lawson titled, "Congressman Al Lawson sends letter to U.S. Department of Homeland Security about delayed responses at U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Office." Quote, Rep. Al Lawson and 61 congressional members sent a letter to U.S. Department of Homeland Security earlier this week about delayed visa applications processing and congressional response times at U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Nebraska Service Center. Members are requesting that USCIS transfer some of their cases to the other 4 service centers that may not be experiencing the same delays. Over the last 3 months, congressional offices have struggled to receive responses from the Nebraska Service Center. Many district caseworkers are waiting more than 60 days without a response from federal liaisons, while others are being told that the average response time to their congressional inquiries for expedited visa requests exceeds 60 days. We are urging Homeland Security and USCIS to remedy the backlog of cases the Nebraska Service Center is experiencing, Rep. Lawson said. It is alarming that expedited visa requests are not being processed on time and that congressional caseworks are not receiving timely responses. The delay in expedited visa processing can negatively impact immigrants and their families by causing job loss, homelessness, and overall anxiety on their status in the country. I think Representative Lawson and the other 61 members of Congress who endorsed this letter forgot to include the Texas Service Center as part of this request. I've covered the historic delays plaguing USCIS going all the way back to the fall of 2020, and yet here we are in the middle of February 2022, and not a whole lot has changed for the better as it relates to these ongoing delays. Look no further than the Google review ratings for both Nebraska and Texas service centers to get an idea of the corporate culture and ongoing personnel issues plaguing these locations. The good news is that the constituents are getting to the elected officials, and this letter is a public request to USCIS to distribute the workload and speed up their processing capabilities. Maybe e-file would help alleviate this burden, but what do I know? On February 17th, 2022, it really appears that the Healthcare Workforce Resilience Act, which I've previously covered numerous times going all the way back to October of 2020 during the H1B Guy Breaks Down, Senate Bill 3599, Healthcare Workforce Resilience Act, is resurfacing with some added bipartisan co-sponsorship. I felt like the smaller standalone pieces of immigration reform would have a much higher probability of becoming law in 2022, and I still stand behind that sentiment here. Physician shortages and nurse shortages continue to be something that is an ongoing issue here in the U.S., and something has to be done to make it more conducive for these high-skilled individuals to migrate to the U.S. I do expect we're going to hear more from the HWRA in the near future. For the full post on the H1B Guy News for the week ending February 18th, 2022, please check out the H1BGuy.com. And a reminder that today's post was brought to you by CITIZENSHIP and Path to Canada, the ideal Plan B for high-skilled immigrants currently located in the U.S. whose status may be uncertain. If you're facing an H-1B denial or OPT expiration, don't get caught off guard. Make sure you have a Plan B, and CITIZENSHIP and Path to Canada are your answers. To find out if you qualify, please be sure to use the link in the video description below, and someone from CITIZENSHIP or Path to Canada will be in touch. And also by PERM-ads.com, the industry leader in providing a seamless experience for employers and immigration attorneys navigating the complex PERM recruitment ad phase of the labor certification process. If you're looking to reduce your cost and overhead associated with PERM labor certification recruitment advertising, let perm-ads.com help you. Just wanted to ask you again to please like this video, subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube, and click the bell for notifications so that you're notified anytime we post new content here to this channel. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate your support. The H1B Guy, your global source for all things H1B.